How are you doing, my son?
How are you doing?
Chilling. Where are you working at now?
I work at the Naval Yard and I work on movie sets for security.
So what do you do with those jobs?
So at the Naval Yard, it's kind of like say like a super of like a job. Like you walk around, you make sure everyone's wearing the mask, they're using the tools the proper way, and wearing hard hats and stuff like that. And then with the movie set job, I'm actually on the new George Clooney movie that's being filmed, The Mask. I'm doing security for that right now, so it's pretty cool.
Well, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Just trying to grind, get my money.
So that's that one's taking place. Where is that? It's in Wakefield, right?
Wakefield, Charlestown, Boston, like downtown, all that area, Fitchburg, and then this like Ashby, something like that, in Wakefield.
Yeah, Ashby.
Yep. And but the thing that makes no sense to me is it's supposed to be Detroit. The movie's supposed to be filmed in like take place in Detroit and in New York and Bronx.
Yeah, but it
So
ain't
what?
pretty in those places. You know what I mean? So they probably were worried that George Clooney would get shot or something like that if he stepped foot in there. They try to rob him.
Oh, absolutely. The dude's a multi-millionaire. He pulled up in his beautiful truck today.
Yeah, I
I
saw
think
that
that
on the news this morning when I was at the gym. It was like Clooney and Mass, and I was like, wait a minute, like what? And I remember Brian had said something about him being in Wakefield or something.
yeah, I don't know they were in. I don't know where they were in Wakefield, but I'm going to Wakefield in a couple days to go do. I'm actually going to be working on set this time, so might be able to get a chance to meet George or like say Ben Affleck and some of the lady actors that are there.
Oh, Ben Affleck's in the movie too?
Yeah, I got told he was a dick.
You won't get up and try to fight him. Punch him right in his box chin.
Honestly, when push comes to shove, you put me and Ben Affleck in a dark alley. I promise you, I'm coming out. He's staying there.
If you white, you Ben Affleck.
You already know, homie.
What
It's
movie was
crazy.
that? Do you remember what movie that was from? I
Um,
think that was
it,
Role Models, right? It was like the little
it,
black kid when he's talking to
yeah,
Sean William Scott. He's like, if you white, you Ben Affleck.
I think it was that movie. I def that definitely sounds like that movie, or it's in a Marlon Wayans film because that's something. That sounds like something Marlon Wayans would say.
Yeah, he says controversial stuff. Like, I saw something the other day. He was like, yeah, dude, like white chicks and like all those other movies. He's like, you ever notice who likes them movies? Like white chicks, like white chicks. Like people like the stuff that like makes fun of them. You know what I mean? Like people try to like downplay like controversy, but at the end of the day, like the jokes that they like usually are the ones that, like relate like to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I honestly, I kind of be seeing that now since I'm older and like more knowledgeable. Like I'd be looking at stuff and like stuff that I can relate to. I'd laugh a little bit more at it than like a joke that I really can't relate to.
Well, it's like, especially us, like middle class and everything. Like, so much like bullshit happens. You almost like gotta laugh at it at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
when people when people like portray that like on screen or like just TV in general or anything, it's like, oh man, like that happened to me, or like I know something like that happened too. It's like, oh yeah, like that's some real shit. You know what I mean? So it's just funny.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That stuff just gets me cracking up laughing. So it's definitely exactly what you said, like how you can relate to it. It's like, oh shit, that's you know what I mean. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm like keep repeating myself. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good. Um, yeah, I mean, like with shit happening though, like it's kind of weird how you ended up like where you're at, considering when you graduated high school, like you wanted to go to the Marines and everything.
Yeah, that was that last 2019 and 2020 were probably definitely I would definitely say the most least favorite years of my life, just because I had like all these big plans and what I wanted to do, and then my health issues and shit got in the way of me doing what I wanted to do, and then put me
Uh,
into this really dark place.
yeah, that all started because the thing you have, right, where it's like the with the
Yeah,
cold and everything.
Muckle-Wells syndrome. That's like what pushed me into because
What's it called?
Muckle-Wells syndrome.
See, because I remember talking about it with you, but I never even knew the name. So it's Muckle-Well?
Muckle-Wells syndrome.
Muckle-Wells syndrome. Okay.
Yeah, it's a crazy disease. It has a lot to do, like, if I stress myself out too much, it will start happening. If I get too hot, it will start happening. Get too cold, it will start happening. I'm blessed now that, like, it's obviously gotten a lot better since I got older because, like, my mom kept me inside for like 6 years.
Yeah, I remember we used to go over the house all the time. It'd be like we'd be going out, like going sledding or something like that. You'd be in, like you couldn't really like go out, or like when we'd come like over your house, like with Steve, like from after school, just to chill, and then you'd be there like with the tutor and everything.
Oh, dude, those days. I'm thankful for them, but those days, dude, they were tough. Not being able to go out with anyone, just sitting inside all day. And then if I had to go out, I had to wear fucking like 2, 3 winter jackets.
Yeah, dude, I remember it'd be like it'd probably be like February or something like that. So it'd be like teeter sometimes where it's kind of nice out and then it's kind of shitty out, or even like in early March, and we'd be out because like we're kids, like we don't really get cold. Like it's weird how kids like don't get cold. Like nowadays I go outside without a jacket, like I'm freezing my balls off. But we'd be out there in like uh a t-shirt and like sweatpants and or like t-shirt and like shorts, and then you'd be out there with like three jackets, like sweatpants, basketball shorts. Your mom would be screaming at you to put on another jacket, like, Mom, fine.
Right, dude. It was tough, dude. And like, dude, like all of you guys constantly coming around me, like I used to look forward to all that because I never really got to go to a school and like make my own friends and experience that. So like every time you guys came over, I considered like you guys my friends. So like
Yeah.
you guys were always like that always helped me. You know what I mean? Like you guys being around me and shit.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think I ever saw because you usually you and like your parents like kept good track of it. I don't think I ever saw like what do you get, like hives when you get, it's like an allergic reaction almost.
Yeah, exact. It's definitely like an allergic reaction. I'll break out in the hives. But so as I got older, they like when they started doing like more testing on me and stuff, they found out that like with my disease comes joint stiffness when it starts going around. So like I can get stuck in like a paralysis stage where like I can just be, you know what I mean? Like picture
Oh
someone getting
shit.
knocked out and they like stiffen like that. I can get stiffened like that. And it's crazy. I They gave me this like needle thing to take care of it, which helped a lot.
What's that, almost like a steroid?
Yeah, honestly, I think it is steroids because it kills fatty proteins inside my body.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, I think
I
you
don't
were
know.
saying that you change up your diet too, right? Because it was something with like the excess fat intake, it could like trigger it, or it makes it easier to happen or something like that. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The more like fattening stuff I eat, practically like the more like bad proteins, the fatty acids, and all that type of stuff. The more that goes into my body, the easier it is for my body to react. That that's a good word to say. Like, that make my body react a lot faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like with that, you'd almost rather move to like somewhere like middle of the country where it's like it gets not too warm or not too cold or anything. I mean, even like around here, New England, I mean, spring is probably like your favorite, like either spring or like fall. And then when we get into the summers, like most of the days you must like it because we usually don't like top out higher than like 90, like 93. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, do they have
that
like a certain like low or high that would be like like the highs you could be in, and like the low, or is it just kind of like differs based off like your how your body reacts?
definitely on how my body reacts. Because there's like some days when it's like 40 out and I'll be shivering,
Yeah,
and then there'll be days where it's like 60 out and I'll be pouring bullets down my face, sweating for no reason. It's crazy.
yeah, that sounds
It,
brutal.
yeah, it was tough. I'm glad now that like since I'm older, I can handle it myself. It's much easier for me now. Because back in the day, like I wouldn't want to tell my mom like, "Oh, this is going on." So you know what I mean. I would always try to get out of the house as much as I can. So I wouldn't want to tell her.
Yeah, obviously you got to go out and like live life, like especially, um, I mean, with your condition, it was almost like you had like like a couple of years of like a COVID lockdown almost. You know what I mean? Like the kids nowadays, they're not really like, well, now it's starting to get nice, so they're starting to leave the house again. But for a little bit there, like they weren't leaving like the house. They were like cooped up inside and they were doing homeschooling pretty much like through Zoom. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's almost like you were built for this shit. You know what I mean? Like you already went through that and it's like, okay, like here we go again. Nothing new for me,
that's literally honestly how I took it as. It's just like I'm used to this. I can pull through this little quarantine stuff. Exactly what you're saying. These kids now that have it, like I look at it and I'm like, I tell a lot of like my younger friends that I still talk to that just graduated. I'm like, you guys should feel blessed because online school, well, for me, it was much easier than me going to school because like I really couldn't pay attention in regular school. But when I was doing it online and like having the tutor come over and teach me stuff, everything came in my head a lot faster because it's more like one-on-one learning.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because I feel like with a lot of kids nowadays, from what I hear at least, like a lot of them have a harder time with learning because they just, I mean, there's so many different distractions like when you're at home and they don't have like the teacher like constantly like drilling them because they're over the computer and they're still trying to figure out and reach all these kids like at once.
Yeah, that's a big downfall. They don't have that help. Like I lucked up because I had a tutor come over, but they don't have that.
Yeah. I know, like
No,
in the summertime at least, like that was almost like when you went wild, though. You know what I mean? Because you could pretty much be out of the house like a free range chicken. Like I remember,
yeah.
do you remember that one time we were at your house? It was on Derby Road, and it was you, me, Steve, Asian Al, and Tommy were in like your pool. Oh yeah, and Squinny was there too. Squinny
It's
was
good.
there, and then we were like, because obviously like all kids like they're into like wrestling, like all boys at least. Like I can't name like one boy that or a guy in general that I know that's like not into wrestling or had like a wrestling phase. I mean, we still never really like kind of like grew out of it. You know what I mean? It's like especially
Absolutely not.
Steve. So
Oh, Stevie.
Steve's obsessed with it. But I remember we were wrestling in the pool because this is like my fondest memory I have of like you. Because usually like you'd be inside, but like this time like you were outside because it was nice out. But we were all wrestling like in the pool, and out of nowhere, like I look up and like you're on top like the ladder. It's almost like when like the spotlight like blares on them. You're on top of the ladder. You just put like your hands up, like you're about to like jump off. And my brother Squinty was just like standing right there, and you fucking drop kicked him right in the face, like right in the fucking jaw, and he went down like a sack of bricks underneath the water. And I was like, dude, like I think he just broke his fucking neck. Like we're all dying laughing. And he's done underneath the water for like a solid minute. And I'm like, this dude's either dead and I'm gonna have to tell my mom, or like he's gonna get up and he's gonna be fucking pissed. Cause like he has like a short ass fuse. I mean, you know him. But he got up and he was like dying laughing. Like he ate it like a champ. It was fucking hilarious.
I feel like he just wasn't expecting that, and he just couldn't help but laugh at it.
Dude, none of us were expecting that. Like we literally like just looked up and we thought like, you were like cannonball or something like that. And out of nowhere, you literally just go like horizontal and your teeth just go right into his fucking teeth. Your feet just go right into his teeth. It was nuts.
Yeah, dude. That I honestly I do remember that. That's when you guys came over at night. I like was like
Yeah, it was
getting
at
dark,
night.
and you guys were all in the pool, and then I came running out my house. I remember exactly. I remember you did it right. I threw my hands up, and then I just came straight right at him, like a freaking bullet.
It was either every single time. It was either that or it'd be Alex. Like he'd be like, you guys be playing Dragon Ball Z inside Steve's room, and he'd be like doing the weird like Piccolo arm grab thing, but he'd be like actually like getting into it, like grabbing you and stuff. So it's like you're trying to play the game, you're trying to get out of it. He'd be like grabbing your arm, and you're like, shit. Because like he's like pinching, like he's like squeezing. You can see
Oh,
his face, like he's crunching up, and then he just like can't get out of it.
dude, Al used to torture me. He was bad.
He's the real rapist.
Oh, we 100%. That kid will forever be the real rapist. And the video you guys used to have me on your Instagram where Al literally sexually harassed me on camera and allowed it to be posted.
So bad.
Dude, he was tapped back in the day. Al loved it though.
Kid used to wrestle you like you were like like a pig in the mud, like he's trying to like get you out of the pen or something like that.
Hog tie and apply.
You'd be like
That's
all
like,
sweaty, like squealing and shit, and he's just wrestling you. Like that was like we were big in like the wrestling and everything, but that was like too much, dude. Like Leave
Yeah,
the poor kid alone.
Al used to get me when him and Massimo used to get me at the same time. That was the worst because him and Massimo, they used to freaking just not like I wouldn't say go all out on me, but they would use like more force than the rest of you guys did. You get Al, Dragon Ball Z, dude. That kid used to exactly what you said, grab me by the arm, or he used to come running at me like this, going, "This ends now."
So bad. So bad.
It
But
was great. I appreciate those times. You guys toughened me up.
as if you needed it with Steve.
Right,
Steve still does it. He goes on like a psycho rampage mode, like of like something stupid. Like the one time I went over your house, I remember I walked in. It was again, it was on Derby Road, and your mom asked me. She goes, "Hey, here." She's like giving me a cup. She goes, "Here you go. Like, can you give this to Steven and tell him to get me a cup of Pepsi?" Yet she was like in the living room, which your living room was connected to your kitchen, which is like right behind it. So I had to go like out of my way to go down the hall into the bedroom where you guys are playing 2K. And I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Steve?" Like, hand on the cup. I'm like, "Your mom said that she wants a cup of Pepsi." And he just like looks at me, blank face. And he just like turns around 360, whips the fucking controller off of the bunk beds you guys had, like the steel frame bunk
the
beds.
Blackwood.
And he just goes, "I fucking do everything around here." And he just rips it out of my hand.
You dude, isn't it crazy? This dude's still like that.
Yeah, he's still like that. It's mad funny.
Fried. He's fried, dude. That's what I love about it, though. Like you can get him going. That I understand why you guys call him the bear now, because you guys can poke at him, but you get him to get a little psycho fit going.
Dude, you don't poke the bear. You don't poke the bear.
You don't poke the bear. That's
But your
the
mom
thing you
used to
don't
poke the
do,
bear all the time. She used to love it. I swear to God, she purposely do shit to piss him off.
Oh, I think she does. She definitely did do it on purpose. I swear. I agree with you.
Well, they used to go back and forth. Like that one time that Steve was telling us, like they went to Market Basket in Northgate, and what do you call it? They walking out to the car, and he starts playing the beginning of Many Men, where it's like shooting the guns. It's like, pow, pow, pow. And he goes, "Ma, get down!" And she fucking jumps to the ground, and she looks up, and nothing's going on. She goes, "Steven, you can fucking walk home."
Were you with this, or was that Al?
That was Al.
Dude, I just remember being next to Al that whole entire time because we were in the back and Steven and her were in the front, and he puts it on. I think you like did my mom's voice perfectly. Like, that was spot on.
Well, dude, like, I mean, that parking lot itself was seeing some crazy shit between us always making those like Northgate runs and everything. Like, like when Christina got hit by the van, and then when your brother John, he was in your mom's minivan. Remember, it was like you, me, Tommy, Francesco, Alex, Steve, Sean, and Massimo. And he's fucking doing like donuts in the parking lot, just like swerving around the parking lot, skidding like right in front of the CVS. He opens up the sliding door on the side and he just goes, "Get in, bitches." And it's fucking sliding around, just rolling around. I thought because that thing was like a hunk of junk. I thought the tires are gonna like flatten out and the whole thing was gonna be skidding everywhere, and the muffler was gonna pop off. It was like loud as shit. I'm surprised the cops didn't get called like after all that, but we're all just like timing it, like jumping in. Like, and then I remember I was in there and Tommy tried to jump in, and he jumped and he like kicked back like he's about to fall, and I like grab him by his shirt and like pull him in.
Dude, that's crazy. I'm be honest, that's kind of scary. That's scary, bro.
Like we used to just be wild back in the day. We used to do crazy shit.
Chase the adrenaline. Literally, that was what it was all about, chasing the adrenaline.
Well, like when we used to basically play like Frogger, like going across from your house, like the Honeydew, like on the walkway from Honeydew over to like Taco Bell,
Squire Road.
We used to, instead of like going when there was no cars, we used to wait till like the cars were just about to go and just fucking book it and just see if we can get across the highway.
Dude, we had some crazy time. Dude, I keep saying, dude. Well, when I lived in Revere with all you guys, and we all lived in like the general vicinity area, like West Revere, I would say.
Yeah.
Like we even like going just us playing manhunt like that. Like we'd be in people's backyards, having people yell at us get out of their backyard, their lights, them chasing us. We still continue the game going.
People want
Frogger,
to be like, fuck you.
fuck you.
Fuck you.
And then, oh, dude, you remember when Massimo, your brother, and Ronnie Bennett, they were stealing the pumpkins off people's lawn, and I had like, fuck it, excuse me for
No,
language.
I
I had
remember
like,
when they were stealing the lawn gnomes. I don't remember the pumpkins.
oh, dude, I had like 45 pumpkins one day, right before Halloween. And dude, they steal my neighbor's pumpkin, and they walk over like, oh, that's a nice pumpkin you have. Where'd you guys get it? I'm like, oh, my brother's friend brought it over. And then like a couple weeks later, and they were asking, they go, oh, which one of your brother's friends got the pumpkin? And like I point at them, and they go, oh. And then they go up and ask them, and then your brother Ronnie and Moss go, we got it from CBS, Nick Cat. That shit was just crazy to me because I was so young watching you guys all do that shit, and I used to love it. Like
They probably like show me the receipt.
right?
Like getting butthurt over a pumpkin. Like you weren't just gonna have it sit on your porch and just fucking let it rot out anyway.
Right? Might as well give it to the people that need them, including the other like 30 something pumpkins I had.
But like remember too, like when I lived in the projects at the time, we used to go out at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and we used to just do like stupid shit, like absolutely like hood rat
Reckless.
shit. Like luckily, I don't know how none of us like ended up like going home like in a cop car, nothing like that. But we used to be like throwing crab apples and like banging on people's doors and everything, like doing ding dong ditch and like throwing rocks. Like I'm completely shocked that one, none of us went home like in a cop car, and two, like either us or like somebody else like didn't get hurt like out of that whole thing. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah, absolutely. Especially back then, the adults then, dude, they would chase you down.
yeah, they used to fucking chase us down, dude. I remember times like we'd be like looking back and they'd be like this old ass dude. Like they probably like in all reality, like our age or like in like the 30s. So like they were still in decent shape. They'd be booking it like at us. But that was like hella good cardio, you know what I mean? Like by the time like basketball season or football season came around, it's like, dude, I've been doing this all year. I've been getting chased by like grown men. You know what I mean?
It's like I already got this. This ain't nothing. It's light work.
It's like I'm getting chased by like little kids in high school. It's like I used to get chased by grown men. You know what I mean? They'd be trying to kick my ass, not just like tackle me or just take the ball, you know? Like
Yeah,
they're like they're
different.
intent on like trying to hurt me. Like these guys are just trying to play a game. Like these dudes, but these dudes that are chasing me, like they want to hurt me.
Oh yeah, and then picture you guys are only what like 14, this like 13 all the way up until you guys are like 17 years old doing that shit. Not really too much when you guys got to like I'd say till about
Yeah.
16.
It was basically middle school and then like at most is like freshman year.
Yep.
After that, it was like, all right, like, you know, we're kind of too old for this shit. Like we can drive now, we like do all this other shit. You know what I mean? It's like we can't be doing this shit anymore, you know?
Yeah.
You reach like a certain age, it's like, wow, looking back, like that was like a lot of fun, but like that was pretty fucked up. Like I would hate if some kid did that to me. Like I'd probably chase me down too, you know what I mean?
Oh, dude, and you gotta be dealing with kids like that too in a couple of years,
Oh
chasing
yeah.
them down.
Especially like where we live, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you live right next to a school too, a middle school. They're gonna be flying down your street, hitting your house every day.
Dude, like people think school zones are like the safe zones. Like, not even like
No.
the kids, especially like us. I mean, the kids nowadays, they're too busy like playing Fortnite and like watching porn. Like us back in the day, like we used to be out 24/7. And if we couldn't like play a sport or something like that, because like we either sucked, we just didn't have enough people, like we would just do hood rat shit. So if you were like in the vicinity of the school, because we'd all meet up at the school, like you were pretty much screwed. You know, like your house was like first target.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people don't understand. Little kids, they're smart and they're crazy at the same time. They don't know who they are in the world yet, so they'll do anything.
Yeah, especially if they have like somebody egging them on. Like, do you remember the amount of fights that there used to be, like either at the farms, like right down the street from the projects, be like because it was right next to the SBA school, or at Vinny's Market down the street. Like that was just
Yeah.
like, all right, everybody's here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's see like who's tougher. Like, let's see you know, who can do this, like who has like the balls like to do this, even though like let's see who's got the balls. I can see who's tough. Like these dudes haven't like the balls haven't even dropped, but it's like everybody like get together and they'd be like a big group of like 10 people and they would just like go down and they would just start fucking each other up or they would just start like fucking something up. You know what I mean? It was like we were destructive ass like little kids in all reality, you know?
And but I'm gonna be honest with you. I swear, like if a kid doesn't like go down that path, you know what I mean? Like not like a hood rat, like straight hood rat hoodlum, like you know the path that you're saying, like the kids
Yeah.
that just fuck shit up and everything. I feel like when a kid gets to experience that type of stuff, I feel like it honestly helps them when they grow older.
No, I can get that. Like it's almost better to fuck up and be kind of like a jackass like when you're younger because it's like almost everybody like has that in them, I feel like. And if you kind of wait too long for that to happen, like if we were to try to do that shit nowadays, like we'd be arrested. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we go immediately to jail, like we'd have to pay money, like blah blah, like we'd be in a ton of shit and we probably like wouldn't have jobs. Like you do
yeah,
that as like a little kid, it's like all right, like he doesn't really know any better, like whatever, like you know, they just get like a slap on the wrist, you know what I mean? Like look at like The Rock, for example. Like I just think a hit like you know what I mean, because he was in juvie and like all this other stuff, like causing shit like when he was like a little kid. And like now he's like one of the most successful people like on the planet. Like, could you imagine a grown adult like doing all that shit and thinking like they can be successful still? Like you're just basically shooting yourself in the foot, you know?
yeah. That they for example, a lot of modern day rappers are like that. They they
Yeah.
go they get famous to get big, and then they think they're this like some type of gangster. I think they're in gangs and stuff like that, and then they get put in jail, and then they just keep redoing it and over again. And that's what I feel like what you're saying with The Rock. He learned from his mistakes, and he took that, and he exactly what you said. Look at him now. Dude's probably gonna be a billionaire probably next couple of years. I wouldn't be surprised if he already is a billionaire on the down low.
I think he might already be one. You know what I mean? LeBron's about to be a millionaire, so I don't see why The Rock wouldn't be one. You know,
Yeah,
with all of his
he's
business ventures and the movies and wrestling and everything else that he does, that dude like doesn't even sleep.
he doesn't. Doesn't he get up at like 4 a.m, hits his first workout, eats?
Yeah, he gets up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, does fasted cardio, then he eats breakfast, then he'll get either a second workout in or he'll go like to work to whatever he's working on today or the 50 million projects he's got. And then if he hasn't already got his lift in, he'll lift like at night. And then he'll go to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning, wake up, do it again. That dude sleeps like 3, 4 hours a night. Like that's crazy.
And and this dude has the energy to do this every single day. That's what.
That's just straight up built
Baffling
different.
that is built different. That's probably about like 2, 3 freaking condominiums made out of stone right there.
Dude,
That's
that's like a small ass percentage of like the population can do that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's that's like maybe like 1% or 2%, like being
You think
generous. Like
you think it has something to do with like genetics or no?
I honestly have no idea. You know what I mean? I I don't know. Some people are literally just built different. You know what I mean? Some things I feel like you just can't explain. Like there's not like a specific science or anything like behind it. You just some
You just
people
can't
like
explain
just
it.
do it. You know what I mean? They don't talk about it. They just do it, you know?
That's crazy. There's so much to everything. It's like we don't even know yet. I would love to know how these guys that are with The Rock. How old's The Rock? But be later 40s.
Uh yeah, he's probably like late 40s. I think he's like 49.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you see how good of a shape this dude's in. I look at him like guys like LeBron, Tom Brady, The Rock,
I mean,
Francis Ngannou, shit
he's
like that.
definitely like on something. The Rock, you know what I mean? He's definitely on something. There's no doubt about it. But like, just because you're doing roids or you're doing HGH, you're doing whatever drug have you, it doesn't mean that you ain't putting in like the work. You know what I mean? That still takes a tremendous work ethic to get your body like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, because if this dude stopped steroids for a month, you'd be able to tell.
I mean, just look at him, dude. He's like 6'4", like pushing over. I think he's like 260, 270 pounds. Like you can't get that big just by injecting a needle in your ass. That's like straight up genetics. You know what I mean? Like he has crazy because he's like Samoan and he's black. So that's just like straight up
That's
like
too
warrior
crazy
like
to me.
genetics. You know what I mean? Like just
And
fusing it together.
his dad too. His dad was huge too.
And his uncles too. They were in the WWE as well. They were all huge. You know what I mean? Obviously, the dudes in WWE, like they're no joke. Like they're strong at even the ones that look like they're like fat, like out of shape, like they're strong as hell. You know what I mean? Like they're diesel.
And they work out constantly, and it's ridiculous. It's that stuff fascinates me.
What
Like
like the different genetics or
the genetics, like exactly, you know how you said like the chubby dude, and he's let's say like that chubby dude, let's say that chubby dude like outlooks like Brock Lesnar or something, and you wouldn't expect it though because of how he looks, right?
yeah,
And
I mean
that's
looks are deceiving. You know what I mean? A lot of people, it's like you ever like some people just have like natural strength. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason why they should be that strong, but they're just naturally strong. Like there's some people that are just have like natural talents, like regardless of what it is. Like some people that are just kind of smarter, like automatically, or they pick up things quicker, which obviously you can train and you can work through and build these different muscles and these different techniques and skills. But some people are just like boom, like it comes easy.
that's crazy. That's like when you let's say like The Rock. Remember how skinny The Rock used to be? Like when he first started with WWE, when it was WWF still, he wasn't, he wasn't like skinny, but like he was like more a little bit like more like cut up, I would say.
Well, he started off, he was pretty thick because he was coming out from playing in the CFL. And
Yep.
then no, I know what you're saying after that. Like he started to get a little bit more lean and cut down. And then the smallest he was, like if you look back at the beginning of like his acting career, like the Scorpion King, and then like the Tooth Fairy, and then the Race to Witch Mountain, and the Game Plan, like he was he was pretty like considering like how he is now, like he was like a twig and he was still in great shape, but like that just shows like how much bigger like he got. Like he went from being kind of chubby to slimming down, and then he just like was like boom, like packed the muscle like back on.
Pack
You know
that
what I mean?
muscle back on. He honestly, he has a great transformation over the years. He would definitely, you like keep safe, like we get like a like some pictures of him throughout the years, dude. That transformation's crazy. And that's
It was
hot, and
just
that's all hard work too. Him constantly working out and shit.
I mean, he's just been consistent.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, I mean that's like with anything though. Like if you're doing something consistently, then you're bound to get results, or you're bound to get progress. You know what I mean? Just based off the sheer amount of time. Like people underestimate how much time it takes to actually get to places that you want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's big. That is definitely big because I obviously like, I just started working out. Like I see like these little results, but like since I've been staying consistent with it and stuff, I can see more of my body like cutting and defining.
Hmm.
But say if like I take like because I took a one week I took a week off because I had no time. I had literally just worked every single day, and I looked at my health and I'm like, damn, I really lost that much like muscle and that much mass. And I started. I got like a little tiny tummy, like a little bear belly going, and like that. I was like, I'm like shocked, and I'm like, wow, I really like consistently do this shit, or I'm just gonna keep falling behind.
It's amazing too, like because I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I tweaked my back a little bit, and then I was super busy like at work, so I took little about a week off, maybe like even 8 days. Like I still was eating good and everything else, but to that, like on the other side of being consistent and everything, like for me, like I've been doing it for so long, like working out, eating good, the whole process and everything, that when I take like a week off, as long as I'm eating good, like I lose little to like no results. Like I could just go like right back in the gym, boom, lifting about the same. And then like maybe give me like 2, 3 days and I already look like the same as like when I took it the time off. So it's weird how, once you are like the more time that you have been consistent, like the more at ease you can almost take it. But your mind gets so trained even like at that point that you kind of don't want to even let up,
Yeah, definitely. When you get going, it's just like you don't want to stop. It becomes a habit, and it ends up becoming like a part of your like daily routine. And
Yeah, I mean, I tell
that's
people all the time, like it's really just like a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like you want to be healthy, like there's some things you just got to do. You gotta at least eat healthy, but if you want to go above and beyond that, like you got to exercise.
yeah. I honestly, everyone should work out for at least an hour a day. It makes stuff a lot better for everyone.
I mean, it's so easy in terms of being healthy. Like,
Sorry.
bless you. If you just eat healthy, and then minimum to get any type of results, it's like 180 hours. No, 180 hours. That's fucking astronomical.
That's ridiculous.
It's 180 minutes a week. So 3 hours a week. That's
How
three
do you do
workouts a
that?
week. 3 hours a week plus eating healthy, and that's minimum what you need.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and it's ridiculous. And you can honestly transform your body just from that too.
Yeah.
That's what's a lot of people. That's what I don't understand. Like, I got some chubby friends. Like, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to call them fat because I feel like that's rude. But I asked them, I'm like, what do you do? What do you do all day? Like when you're not in school and when you're not in work? And they go, oh, we play video games. I just asked them, like, why don't you guys like go for a walk, go to the gym or something? Oh, nah, dude, that's too long. I'm like, dude, you spend about 8 hours on a video game or 8 hours on your phone right after you're done doing your thing. But you can't take an hour of that and just implement that into working out.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of wasted time. I mean, even me, for how long you've known me, I mean, I used to do work, school, and the gym like consistently. I've kind of always done that, especially like since leaving high school, where it's like I've had to work, obviously to pay different things like I do in bills, but it wasn't until maybe like the last year where I was like really digging into like the free time like I have. I'm like, okay, work, school, gym, but it's like then I have this much time in between where I'm either like on like my phone, I'm playing video games, or I'm just like I don't know. Where I'm just
Hanging with your buddies or something.
I'm just like not doing anything. And like I still make time to do that stuff because it helps relax me and it's fun. But at the same time, um, little by little, I started to dip into things that were more important to me, whether it be, reading or getting into like investing or trying new things or even like doing something like this, you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's stuff that interests me, stuff that, is going to advance my life where if I could still play like the video games, do all this stuff. And maybe instead of doing it for like 4 hours, maybe I do it for like 1 hour or 2 hours, you know what I mean? And then however much time like you allocate to the other stuff is eventually going to add up. Like with anything, consistently, whatever you spend your time on consistently eventually adds up.
Exactly. And you literally said like a perfect like game plan for everyone. You can instead of 4 hours of video games, cut it down and implement something else in those couple hours.
Yeah. I mean, especially like when people look around, they're like, well, I'm unhappy. Okay. Why are you unhappy? Cause like I'm out of shape. Okay. Well, like, what are you doing? I'm on my phone. I play Xbox. Like I'm eating like shit. Okay. So don't be on your phone as much. Don't play Xbox as much and eat good. Go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like cut, you can always change whether it be at this very moment or even tomorrow or whatever, what it is you're doing and what your trajectory in life in general is going to be just based off the little things you do every day.
Yeah.
So even me, somebody who is like pretty on track with everything, it just goes to show even myself, I could still be more productive. It doesn't just stop at, you hit one goal and it's like, boom, okay, like I'm satisfied. Like that's it.
You got to keep setting those goals so you can keep satisfying yourself. That's like what I look at as. You just got to keep setting these goals little by little, and then you build up to the huge goal, which is obviously like later on in life. But you set these mini goals that you try to achieve each and every month, or let's say a goal every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's
And
like, what goals like do you have right now? Like I know especially like in life, like your goals sometimes change and you kind of have to adjust like based off like what happens. Like for example, like we were saying earlier, your goal is like to go to the Marines and like do all that shit, and then you kind of got like a curveball thrown at you, but like your medical history and everything else. So I mean, you just been working. Obviously, I've been like in touch with you and everything. So
Yeah. Um, with me working and stuff, I'm trying to get myself into a trade school, and I'm trying to buy a new, like, another car and stuff. But it's like, I don't know why. I think it's a pride thing. Like, my parents often need like money to pay for my school, and I'm like, I just like won't let them. So like obviously like my pace is going a little bit slower than everyone else's, but like I'm fine with me being able to take my time and do it, because then I'll be at the end of the day, I'll be able to be, oh, I did it myself. I didn't have to get the help, even though sometimes help's really good. But I just want to be able to do everything myself. So I think that's like a stubborn and like pride thing I have wrong with me. But it happens to the best of us. But like my main goal like right now is to get into trade school and join a union, and then a couple years down the road I'm gonna take the civil service exam and become a cop or a firefighter.
yeah, I mean, it's not always a bad thing to get help. You know what I mean? No matter what you do in life, whether you think you're independent or you're on your own or not, like you always have something helping you. You know what I mean? Whether directly or indirectly. So, I mean, if they're willing to help, then I mean, maybe you don't have to take like the full amount, but any little bit helps, and then you could always pay it forward down the road, whether you pay it back to them or you help somebody else out. You know, so I often find that I try not to take handouts, but I also admit that I can't do everything by myself, especially living in Mass, and everything is the
Being
cost of living is
expensive.
so expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that, but you know what I mean? Like that, like just from like hand, like that's like I need to hear that stuff, because you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like some people, they're not gonna tell me that, and you just told me that straight up. You know what I mean? Like that's like, see, that's help, that like helps me. Like, good advice, I would say.
Yeah, I mean that's really like with anything. Like I always try to take help whenever I can. It doesn't mean like I go around like asking people like for help all the time or like for handouts, but if somebody's willing to offer me, it's usually like advice or information. Like I always try to keep both my ears open, and regardless if they whatever they give me, I try to either pay it back to them in some way, um or I just pay it forward to somebody else, and it's just kind of like the cycle of things. It just seems to usually work out. But yeah, so I mean that's usually just how I view it. And I always just try to do like what I think is best for myself and is gonna advance, my life and my quality of living, and then um as well as the people that I care about and then other people I come in contact with, to try to give off like positivity.
That's a good way of like looking at things, and that it's definitely like that's like good knowledge to have. And like with you being like how you said like you're willing to listen to knowledge that people are able to give you, and stuff that can like benefit you and stuff, like that goes a very long way in life. And that's what obviously I need to do a little bit more of that. But yeah, definitely I should definitely look forward and ask more questions and see if gets people like toss up some information to me that I can take in and absorb and try to apply to my everyday life, and what you just said, apply to the people I care for and the people that I'm in constant contact with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean it usually works out pretty good when you do that. You know what I mean? It's I usually don't do it because I feel obligated. It's just because that's just like in like my nature, especially if somebody's putting out like for me, like I want to put out for them, and then I feel like you know if they went out of their way to do it, then why can't I go out of my way to do it for somebody else?
yeah, exactly. I know what you're saying. Like I understand what you're saying. Like definitely that like, we need more people like that in the world. It would benefit a lot of us, and not like, all of us, honestly. People that are like sitting there willing to learn and be able to implement that to themselves and try to implement it to others and stuff like that. That's like, see, we need more people like you. You know what I mean? It's crazy to say.
Well, you too. I mean, I usually I usually tell people if you could see good qualities and good traits in other people, then you too are capable of them because you've already done the hardest part and you've recognized what that quality is. So if you know what that quality is, then there's no reason why you can't apply it yourself. You know what I mean? You already have that
Yeah.
knowledge.
See, I've never thought of it like that, but that I'm, kind of like switch, like, you know what I mean, like switch something in my head to like now it's like now I could able like now that you just said that, my bad. Now that you're like saying this to me, like now like it helps me like put that switch and turn it on into my head.
Actually, I first got that concept from this book I read in a psychology class I took. It was called Champion's Mindset. It's basically about sports psychology. So it was, the main concept of that, quote and that ideology was just like, well, if you see that the star athlete on like the team, like the captain, is the hardest working one. He's the one that's making sure everybody's in position. He's the vocal point of the locker room. You already recognize what those qualities are, and knowing them, you know what I mean. You already know them, so by knowing them, you can apply them.
That's I definitely can see that now. So it's like I think that kind of, you know what I mean, like you kind of explained it to me very clearly, and that's gonna help me with whatever I do now. Just being able to see a quality, if I, like you said, see quality, I can take that now. I can use it for myself, and I can try to help use it for other people and implement it for other people. I'm not the brightest with grammar, so pardon me for that one.
No, it's all good. I come off as like a smart ass, but I'm just kind of full of shit anyway. I usually just fucking make shit up as I go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hey, it's all good.
um,
It helps.
yeah, but like so I mean, you'll be fine as long as you just kind of like keep doing like what you think is the right thing to do. You know what I mean? I mean, you'll be okay. I mean, you could do trades. I mean, you could do anything really that you want. I mean,
Yeah,
I always just say, I mean, it's worked good for me is just go after the things like that make you happy. Like usually when you chase the things that make you happy, like the money like kind of just comes. It usually just becomes the afterthought. Especially today, like where so much of the world is based off like money, money, money. Like, I need money for this, need money for that. Like give me the money. Like you mean show me the
yeah.
money. But
Everything's materialistic.
I feel like if you emphasize like happiness, like it kind of just falls into place. You know what I mean? It usually makes your quality of living much better in general. So
Yeah, it makes it much easier instead of you like always thinking about the money and always thinking about the materialistic things you need, and like, and that's a lot of like for the younger generations, like my generation especially, and like the generations under, they're all about these materialistic things. Like they need that new Bape hoodie, they need that new Louis Vuitton bag or something like that. They need those brand new shoes that come out. But like, like what I don't understand is like, how is this stuff so appealing to the eye for these people? Is it like I read something, they like show it's like all the same, like all bottles of water, and it's like you literally just paying for a name.
yeah, it's all
You know what
branding
I'm
at the end of
talking
the day.
about? Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, dude, I can go get myself a 12 pack of Hainesway t-shirts for $20 at Target, and then I see this kid rocking a brand new Supreme shirt that costs him $250. I just like, are we different? Do you like to live like that, or is it just because like I rather save my money? I just don't. That's some stuff I don't understand. Why is it so materialistic?
Gary Vee always like brings up that point that you just said. It's like people will go out and they'll get like the nicest, like brand new, like Mercedes, and constantly have like a car payment or have to repair it or whatever else. And they think like they're stunting because like they're rolling down the street. They got like this nice ass like foreign car. Yet they don't have like enough money to do like the things that they like to do. But I got like this nice car that I can drive back and forth to work. That where I have to work like 60 hours a week, but I'm still bulling. Whereas there's another guy who drives like a Toyota, and it gets him from point A to point B. There's like never any problems. It's not like the flashiest car, but it didn't cost an arm and a leg. It doesn't cost a lot to repair, and they have that extra money where they can go on like that trip where they can, you know, spoil like their girlfriend, or if their like friend or like family asks like for money, like they got it, like they don't need to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like pay me back when you got it. You know what I mean? So it just the little choices again, and that goes back to what we do like with our time, with our money, what consistently we do is the choices that we make impact how our life is going to eventually be down the road.
That's huge in life, and it's good that, like, you know what I mean, like us, for example, we understand that we don't need those freaking materialistic things in our life. And like, I don't know, every time, like my like one of my friends, he lives off of selling shoes. Like, he sells his shoes. You know what I mean? He got all those crazy bots and all that fancy technology. And I'm asking him, I'm like, what are you gonna do when your parents kick you out when you're too old? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, do you plan on selling shoes for the rest of your life? Because I don't know why to me, I see no value in a pair of shoes. Doesn't
Well, does he
matter.
make good money selling those shoes?
Yeah, but he bought it. He buys stupid stuff with it. Like,
Oh, I see.
he'll go out. He went to the Salt Bay restaurant. You know, the golden crested steak. Kid bought 4 of those for him and his other friend. 2 for him, two for his friend.
How much
Like,
is it? Like almost like flaming young? I've never even heard of it.
Conor McGregor has it on his page. You'll see how big piece of that. You'll see how big that meat is, bro.
How much does
And
it cost?
I I would want to say 200. I'd want to say 200, but like, I don't
200
know.
bucks for a steak, bro?
A steak that probably doesn't even taste good, and it's just the steak. You don't get no sides with it, nothing.
And he said he bought one for him and like 3 of his boys?
No, he bought 2 for him and 2 for his boy.
That's crazy. Dude dropped almost $1,000 in steak.
Yeah, but the only reason why this kid's also like lucky and to be blessed because he came from a rich family, and you know what I mean. The kid drives a brand new Tesla, but his parents won't. His parents won't pay for the repairs. They
As
won't
they
pay for the
should.
repairs now, but they'll pay for his insurance and everything. But this kid doesn't understand what happens if this kid, like, when you messed up your panel and your fenders and shit like that. Now, what?
Yeah, one second. My grandfather just called me.
You good? You good? Take your time.
Hello?
Fire some text.
Okay, yeah, it must be the part for the toilet. All right, thanks. Bye. Hey, what's up, man?
1 second. I'm sending a text out real quick. But yeah, so like, I was looking at, like, just like thinking about it. You know how, like, you got your car fixed. How much did they appraise you for? Like $900. They
It
fixed
ended up being $5,000.
5 grand.
Yeah.
All right. Now, with your car being a Scion, right? Scion, right?
Like imagine if it was like a Mercedes or like a
Tesla,
BMW or anything
Mercedes,
like that.
BMW.
Tesla, yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. They're paying for these cars that they can't afford at the end of the day. Because if they mess those cars up once, geez, it's game over from there.
Well, dude, even just the oil changes of some of those cars, you end up spending like $100-something just for an oil change. It's like average oil change is like $30, 30 to like
Yeah,
$50.
you're getting the same oil. You get the same oil as we get.
Yeah, but
It's
you got to pay more
ridiculous.
because it's foreign. You know what I mean?
Exactly, because it's foreign imported.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It really is. Uh, kids, young men, grown men, they just gotta understand sometimes those materialistic things are not worth it.
Yeah, dude,
Unless
like
you got-
just save your money. Like save up, man. Like do like the things you like to do instead of just trying to flaunt like just to flex on like the gram or something like that, or just like try to show off for people who literally like don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like if you're like my boy, you can walk in with like a ripped pair of jeans and like a dirty ass hoodie, and I'm still gonna look at you the same as if you walked in with like a Gucci belt and a Supreme shirt. You know what I mean? And it's like it.
Exactly.
And if you're trying to like stunt for people who aren't like friends or family, then you're just playing yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're not like a player. You just play in yourself. Like
Yeah,
you're not impressing anybody. Like people just don't really care. Like they don't give a shit. You know?
they don't. At the end of the day, the only people that do give a shit are the people you hang out with, and
Yeah,
they don't care what
exactly.
you look like.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They want to. They have a million other people they hang out with. Like, why the hell they hang out with you? Like, oh, you know that he dresses nice. Like, okay, like who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like how's
Yeah,
your character? Like, what are you doing? Help other people. Like, what's your energy like when you enter the room? You know what? There's all these like intangibles that people actually look for, like when they're looking for people to bring into like their social group. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's what you got to do when you get out. Like, what I mean, like when you get older, that's what you got to like find someone that can fit in with you, and you can fit in with them, and then like you fit with their friends, and they fit your friends and shit like that. You got to be able to make things work and have those connections and those bonds.
The best
What?
is when you just like meet somebody and it's just like clicks. Like it's like that energy. It's like it almost like I saw something somewhere. It's like they did a study on that. It was like some people's brains operate on like similar wavelengths or something like that. Like if you think of it as like a radio where some radios are set to like the same station, so they're on like the same tuner, like same wave. They say
Yeah,
that people have like that connection too, like with their brain, since we have electricity flowing through like our bodies. it they have it's like a similar concept where people tend to typically be attracted to one another, or they make like an instant connection just based off if they're kind of tuned to like the same station. So I always thought that was like a dope concept, you know what I mean? And I've seen it to be true. Like sometimes I'll meet people and it's like right away, like boom, like you're like my boy, or like, you know what I mean, like I'm really hitting off like with this chick, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's cool.
That's the best part about it. Like, that's honestly one thing that I like about meeting new people is that exactly what you're saying. Like, you can just hit off with these certain people. Like this new girl that I talked to, bro. I never freaking talked to her a day in my life, bro. And it was just like we instantly clicked because like I kind of see what you're saying, like those wavelengths in the brain. That is a dope concept. I like that. It's
Yeah, there's a study on it. I saw it before. I was scrolling through the internet. I like sometimes like late at night, like lately I've just been having a hard time like sleeping. So it's like some concept like coming like my brain, like why is this or like why is that? And I'll try like Google searching, like I'll be like trolling through like the internet, like trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
sorry, I'm walking through the house.
It's all good. That dog just won't die, huh?
No. Dude, I think that dog might outlive my father.
It's awful.
That is terrible. Oh, in here, we got the setup now. Like these, like you know how we were just talking about the connections and bonds. Like I understand, but you have stuff like someone talking about what am I trying to say? I'm trying to think of something, but I know what I want to say, but I can't explain. So it's like, say like when you walk up to a random person, like how you said earlier, right? And you just click. Like,
Well, a lot of time it's like your energy, like it's a lot of it, like the wavelengths, like when I was looking it up, it was a lot of the similarities were like wavelengths, aura, energy. Like you kind of feel like that energy and like that aura. It's like that vibe come off a person like when you first like interact with them and you start talking to each other. It's like it's kind of scary how somebody who you completely have no idea who they are, you never met them before, you might not even seen them a day in your life, and it's like, dude, like I feel like I've known you since like the day I could form words like in my mouth. Like it's very strange how people can be like connected like that.
that's what I was trying to explain. Exactly what you said. How can they connect like that? That's something interesting that I definitely would like to do my studying on. Like you just said, like you can just connect with them right away, and you feel like you know them your whole life. Is that like more tend to, like from what you read? Is it like more tend to people that are like you, or could it be completely like opposite person? They like different things, but you guys just click.
It was just very general. It didn't specifically say one or the other. It was just general. You know what I mean? It's just you kind of just meet someone and it's just like, okay, boom, like I know you, like you know me, like it's kind of weird. Like it's like an unspoken like bond, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. That's something deeper than science.
it's almost
Uh,
like when you break like the link of like a chain, and then out of nowhere like you find like the other piece of it and it just kind of clicks on, or when like I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know,
it,
but there's probably
it,
a million analogies like for it. It's just like
it's crazy,
when you
but
have
it's
like two
actually
missing pieces and they just like pop back together to form like
pop
one
back.
complete like pair. You know what I mean? Like it's weird.
Wow, it makes sense. It's just something crazy to think about it when you sit there and try to think about it, because it doesn't make sense to the brain, but it does make sense at the same time.
I mean, there's a
It's
lot of like deep shit like out there that just shouldn't make sense, but like it does. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of unknown like anomalies that kind of like exist like in the world. Like that's I feel like that's part of the reason why people think like magic and fairy tales and all that stuff like believe. It's like, well, how do you explain this, and this? Like sometimes you just can't, it's shit
just
just
there,
happens.
like natural disasters. To me, I understand like they have an explanation to it, but like I don't think there's an answer for it. It just happens.
Well, I don't know
Like,
that they kind of have like the conclusive science
you
about,
think
man.
so? I think about like earthquakes. That makes sense to me, but like tornadoes, I don't like warm air and cool air mix and a tornado happens. That don't make sense to me.
I'm sure if you dive deeper into it, it makes sense. That's like one of those things that's kind of like cut and dry.
Yeah, it's just I'm talking about the stuff that I just learned from school, so it's just very bland and generic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, school they just basically tell you, okay, like here's like a monkey. Like basically, um, there was like this monkey, then that monkey, then this one happened. But it's like, okay, but like where it's like when it's like almost as if like they give you like in school, it's like, okay, here is the end product, and then maybe here's like the beginning, but they don't give you like the filler stuff like in between. It's like if you try watching a movie, you watch the beginning, skip to the end, it's like your brain's like
What
all
happened?
over the place, like in shambles. It's like, well, what the fuck? Like, how did you get from here to there? Like, what happened at this point? Like, was there this, and this? Is like, there's so many questions. You know what I mean? Like, in school, they kind of fail you in the sense where they it's almost like they cheat you. Like they just give you like the answer, unless it's like a math or like a science where you have to do like all these equations, which at that point, I don't know about you, but I fucking hate math and the equations, they don't make any fucking sense. Like
They don't.
how can you make up like these random signs like in symbols and then expect me to get like the square root of this, and that? It's like, well, that's not fucking real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not. It's literally just a concept made from us. It just makes zero sense. With this what is it called? Like the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
People will learn that, but they won't learn like how to do like their taxes and shit. You know what I mean?
Learn how taxes or even learn how to like one class that I do think that should be in schools, like learn how to pick up a telephone and talk professionally on a telephone. That
Yeah,
would go
no,
big.
yeah, I agree with that. Like it'd be like a business communication class almost, or
Yeah.
like a professional. I mean, they have professional speaking, but not in I know not in high schools. Like they don't have that. High school is basically like math, science, history, and like they'll sprinkle in like whatever other bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like an art class, gym class, and something like that.
Yeah, or they'll do like English, like as if like like here in America, you haven't been speaking English like for years. Like I get it,
Yeah, we
like
have.
proper grammar is good for looking professional, but it's like, okay, like do I really need to write another 12-page paper on the fucking outsiders? Like, dude, like Ponyboy died. Like, let's get over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, sorry, Johnny died. Let's get over it,
yeah.
not Ponyboy. I do it for Johnny.
Do for Johnny. That's the thing. Like at the end of the day, when are we realistically gonna type paper after high school? Well, or after school?
I mean,
Not a lot of,
you'll have to type papers, that's for
or like
sure.
write a
But
paper. Not something that long. You know what I'm saying? Like a 6-page essay or something.
no, if you depends on like what field that you're in. You know what I mean? Like that's where school kind of fails you in the sense where they generalize everything. You know what I mean? They don't like give you life skills that everybody will use. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you should be able to, like how they offer like electives or they offer selection of classes like in college. I feel like the first, like almost like how college is, the first 2 years you kind of do like gen eds. It's like, general education. So it's all stuff that pretty much everybody is going to need regardless of like what field they pick. Then the last 2 years they should give you stuff that's more geared towards like what you want to do, and let introduce you to things that are like optional that you may want to pursue like later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. That's how school definitely should be ran. Any type of school, high school, college, stuff like that. They need to start implementing and put more of those like classes or the life skill classes into school again.
Because I feel like that just fails the future generations, and then it also fails the entire society as like a whole, where you have a lot of people who don't know, like they might not know how to fix like a tire or like replace the
No,
tire, or they might not know how to answer a phone like you said, or they can't do taxes, or they don't know, I don't know, just something like in general, like, public health, just mental health in general. Especially like with all these shootings and stuff we keep seeing, I feel like mental health like is not pushed. Like there should be more classes like for that, just to be
definitely.
very, very like specific. But there's so many life skills that kids just aren't getting, and it just fails them like down the road, like in life, where they end up having to take extra steps in order to learn them, when it's like, okay, like I should already know this. Like I shouldn't be learning this
Yeah,
shit when I'm like 35.
they should have already known that from after they turn 18. If they consider us an adult at 18, we should have all those skills by the age of 18.
You can go to war, you can smoke cigarettes, but you know what I mean? Oh, I don't know how to do like my taxes, or I don't know how to set up a professional
Even cook,
profile for like a job, or how to even make like a resume.
exactly. Or they don't even. What's that? I was talking to my parents earlier when I got home from work. Actually, they're telling me how like school used to offer cooking classes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Everybody, like, it's not a gender role to cook. Like everybody needs to be able to cook, everybody needs to be able to clean. You know what I mean? Like those are
Yeah,
life skills.
but they don't offer that stuff no more
Yeah, it was
unless you're like
home economics, right? That's what they used to call
yeah,
them. Home
yep,
ec.
that's exactly what it was called. And but when you're 18, like what you said, you can go to war, you can go purchase a pack of cigarettes, you can literally do everything, but you won't know how to do your taxes.
You don't know how to fry an egg.
Yeah, right. You might not know how to fry an egg at the age of 18. And I'm be honest with you, a lot of my friends don't even know how to cook or use an oven.
I know some people
And
that don't even know how to do laundry.
yeah,
Like all
see,
you do is toss it in, put like detergent, and you just turn the switch on. Like,
and it's over. It's over with. It's nothing hard. It's not confusing.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, part of it too, it's I mean, it's not entirely on the school. It is also the parents. You know what I mean? They're
That's
either
huge
so
too.
busy like with their own lives, or they just fail as parents. They just
Yeah,
don't give a shit.
parents
You know what I mean? It's like,
being an
um,
enabler and shit like that.
yeah, they just enable them.
And that's most parents do that now with younger kids because I don't know. I'm not trying to shit on the younger generations, but they're doomed. I have faith, but they're doomed.
Yeah, I mean, they were already facing an uphill battle with the with the parents like just throwing technology at their laps, so they don't really learn to do anything other than stare at a screen all day.
Yep.
But then it's almost like they were forced to stare at a screen all day because of COVID and everything. They had to stare at the computer all day, so they've been conditioned to just stare at a screen all day. And I don't know, they don't. It's hard to learn life skills. Like a lot of the stuff I feel like I've learned in life and I've applied from life was a lot of those times, like we were saying earlier, where we'd be out like doing crazy shit. Like I would like your friends playing sports or just in general. It was a lot of like socializing. You pick up a lot of things. You stay active. You form meaningful bonds that typically last throughout like your whole lifetime. Like, I mean, I've known you since I was in middle school and you were in elementary school, and like we're still friends. I'm still friends with Al. I'm still friends with Steve. Still friends with pretty much everybody. You know what I mean? So
Still
still
the
talk to
same
people
people we've been.
regularly. You know,
Yeah, it's the same people we've been with. You know what I mean?
it's just all about socialization.
and that's big. Socialization is huge, and everyone can just pick up a phone. Back in the day, it was just like, yo, meet me here at this time.
Yeah, like I can't even imagine like nowadays, like people bail all the time and they could just like shoot like a text like, oh shit, like my bad, like I forgot. Like back then it's like you pick up the phone, make a call, and it's like you have to go to like a payphone or something like that, and you're just sitting there. It's like, wait, where the fuck is this kid? It's not like he just give you a call like, yeah, like I'm running later, blah blah. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's a lot more accountability back then as well, where it was like, okay, like I don't want to be like a douchebag. Like I got to make sure like I'm there at this time and I'm gonna do this. So and for so and so, and so like dot this like xxx that. So you know what I mean? Nowadays it's like, oh, like I don't really feel like it. I'll just shoot him like a text, or you know, I was too busy like playing video games or doing something else. Like sorry.
That's what the kids should not have phones until middle school.
Yeah, I know. I had a phone when I was in third grade when I got my first phone, but it was like a little Nokia one.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do anything on it but call, like, because it used to be like the minutes. So you'd have to buy like the minutes.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do anything but call. And then I didn't get like a legit, I didn't get like a legit cell phone where you could do anything other than call until probably eighth grade. No, like seventh grade, eighth grade.
Yeah.
And even by then, it was like there was no internet. Like it was either you text or you call. Like you can't be scrolling all day like on social media or like go on YouTube, like all this other shit. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to get like an iPod, like the totally separate iPod, and then you could do it on there, but only like with Wi-Fi. And even before that, it was like the Walkman, which the Walkman was like you had all the clunky CDs,
But be realistic. Did you use your phone in third grade? Probably not.
No, I used to huck that thing off the slide all the time. It'd be like in like my pocket. I'd be playing like tag or something like that, and it would fall out, and I would literally just like huck it down the slide. I was like, "Fuck this thing! Like I'll get it later," because like nobody wanted to take it. Like it was like, all right, like they're a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? Like those phones are like $5, but they're indestructible. Like anybody can just get one.
Yeah, you just go get a new one at the end of the day, even if it breaks.
Whatever.
Have you seen?
It ever broke.
Those phones don't break. Nokia don't break whatsoever. Have you seen the new Godzilla movie versus King Kong?
Nah. I don't know. I feel like those monster movies are just so cheesy, especially that one. Like, okay, King Kong versus Godzilla. Godzilla shoots fucking like acid breath or like fire breath or something like that. Like,
right?
King Kong's like just a big fucking monkey. Like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna fucking run at him. The dude's gonna like blow fire at him. He's just gonna fucking die. Like, I don't get the whole point of the movie.
Dude, I don't understand. Like, I watched it because I love Godzilla. I'm not a fan of King Kong, but when I look at it and it's just like, all right, Godzilla should have had this thing put down in the first 15 minutes of the movie. Godzilla should have had this thing killed.
Like, he has to be just as, if not like slightly less strong, but then he has like armored skin plus fire breath, plus he can breathe underwater. It's like
he got a tail.
Yeah, like King Kong is basically just like an oversized fucking gorilla. Like that's all he is. Like
all he is. That thing wouldn't last 2 seconds. That's literally like putting a dragon. Let's say like if dragons are real, like a fucking because apes they're like 6 feet standing up, 7 feet.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, you get like a freaking like 10-foot dragon. What's gonna win? The dragon. You're just gonna straight blow fire on them. Are you ever gonna see the movie?
Nah, dude, I don't give my money to stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? I have no intention of seeing it. I don't really care. I bet the ending is probably something crazy stupid that they added in just like to make more money. They're probably gonna make a second one.
They did. They did it. Just the ending was just to make more money. But Godzilla whips that ass not once but twice.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, dude.
Yeah, then they made him team up at the end. It's stupid.
Yep, I figured that. That's what everybody says. You know what I mean? Like, watch, they're gonna have to fight like some other super huge like villain. It'd be super duper mecha, like uber giganto, like Godzilla or some stupid.
That's
like,
really all it was.
Yeah.
They just literally fought like it's just cool because it's like the nostalgia, because it's got, well, for me it's because of Godzilla, it's like the nostalgia, but even I know the movie's cheesy just because you could already predict it, but don't even watching it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when people actually sit down to watch like those Sharknado movies, like you remember those? It's like, dude, like
Oh my,
why the fuck are you watching this? Like you already know how this is gonna go down. Like, why are you wasting like your time? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
they're gonna throw like a bomb inside of it and they're gonna call it an end.
Yeah,
You wonder who's obsessed with those shits? Al.
yeah, you know.
Al was a weirdo. I
He
remember the
kept getting
movie.
pissed. He goes, "These fucking morons think a fucking monkey is gonna beat Godzilla." He goes, "They're fucking idiots." He goes, "I bet my fucking life savings on it. That dumb fucking monkey." He's like legit like getting pissed. Like people are like, nah, I think Kong got it. And he's like legit like getting mad. He's like, nah, no shot. He goes, nah, my boy.
Nah, zero. Can't go against. Remember, Godzilla also helped Al's ancestors,
Awful.
but he also put him away a couple times. Yeah, you gotta like edit that part out. You know what I mean? Like, you get a ginormous monkey that's practically like making a ginormous human versus fucking Godzilla. We get fucking killed. It just makes no sense. How?
Only difference is opposable thumbs. That's really
Yeah,
it.
that's literally all. And then they can climb stuff better than us. That's it. We got to be smarter, but they can climb stuff better than us. It's stupid to me. You remember that movie Rubber?
Yeah,
The
Robert the
tire?
Tire, where he used to walk around, he would just blow things up with his mind.
Yeah,
Where you
dude.
roll it around.
That honestly, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I'll tell you why. I've never seen anything done like that before. It's original. That's original. That's straight from someone's brain.
Like,
And
how does they get the funding to possibly make a movie where the tire just rolls around and blows things up with its mind?
Yeah, it freaking flies down, and it can roll like 80 miles per hour. Who thinks of that?
Yeah, I
That
don't
man's
know.
a genius. He's a genius. And the fact that they got they got it published on Netflix, then on with the Hulu, then it was on Crackle. That's somewhere along
Yeah,
the
like
line now.
it was on Netflix back before Netflix was like what it was. Like it was like one of those like before streaming service was even really like a big thing. Like it was just like, okay, like here's Netflix. It was like $7 a month before. Now I think it's like $12 a month or some shit. But they had like random ass like movies and like shows on there. And like that was like I remember on like the main page, like that was like one of the ones like on like the main page. And that's usually like where all like the best titles are. And that one was like on there. Cause I remember one night, like I was actually with Al and like we clicked on it and we were watching it. And it's just like one of those movies where it's like, it's so bad, but you end up watching the whole thing because you're just like so curious. You're like, dude, like this can't be like a legit movie. Like I have to see like where this is gonna go. And it just never ends up like taking off at all. And you end up, it just becomes like one of those things like you just joke about like forever because it's so bad that it's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you need to see what happens. You need to see what happened at the end. It's just fascinating. Trying to think. Honestly, that's how I thought. That's honestly how I feel about how we found out about Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah. Trailer Park was none of those things was on the Netflix main page. They
Now
got
look at
famous
Trailer
off
Park.
of Netflix. That was really how they got famous.
And page that we would have never known what it was if it wasn't for Netflix. And I'm blessed Netflix blessed us with that.
Nobody really did either. I mean, they were like kind of popular in Canada, but like Netflix like made them like international. You know what I mean? Like they ended up having, I mean, it still goes today and they had like so many celebrities and shit, like movie specials, like TV specials, the cartoon now. It's just like it's one of those things. It's like the indie films, like indie TV shows. It's like sometimes they just
Keep
take
going.
off like based off of like it's just like stupid crazy shit. It's like how does somebody possibly like think of this? And it's just so original and so like out of this world that people just like get hooked on it. You know what I mean?
Got to keep it going. You just got to keep the flow going because Trailer Park Boys is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's
And no
fucking
matter what,
hilarious.
when you see the gut of Randy, it's just
Dude, it's like when
something.
I saw a picture, it was like it's hard like to recognize like somebody's like body, but like when you see his gut, like it's recognizable like right off the bat. Like you can never just like look at somebody's stomach and be like, oh, I know who that is. Like it's just a fucking stomach. But you like look at his stomach and you're like, dude, like that's Randy. Like I know who that is. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
recognize
you
that
can
gut
tell.
anywhere.
You know, the gut. Oh, cheese. What was his name? Cheeseburger. What?
No, the cheeseburger Wallace was Phil Collins.
Okay, that was Phil Collins.
He was the cheeseburger walrus. Randy's just Randy.
He's
Randy
just fat.
Bobambi.
Oh, there we go. That's his name.
Randy
Randy
Bobandy.
Bobandy. Dude. Do you remember the great 2K12 incident with you?
I do. Fuck that game. Game's
The
trash.
dunk that went up and then went right back in.
That game is fucking. That's probably the one of the worst sports games I've ever played in my life. Literally,
Nah.
if you played with LeBron, he was like a 90. It said he was like a 99 overall, but he was basically like 199 overall. Like you could not do anything to stop
Couldn't
him.
stop him.
Would dunk every single time. I was playing with Al one time, and that's when that happened. He just like he kept fucking dunking. He just kept fucking dunking. You couldn't do anything to stop him. He'd like take 4 steps, dunk, and it was just unstoppable. And he dunked again and again and again and again and again and again. And then he dunked. It was like the last time that he did it. He dunked. It went up like over the glass and went back down and in, and they counted the bucket. And I was just like, I snapped. I fucking ejected the disc, pulled it out, and I fucking spit on it, and then I fucking snapped it in half, and I just tossed it around the fucking trash. And I'm like, that's enough. Like I'm never playing that fucking garbage again.
I didn't even think. I honestly, I don't even think I played 2K12 because I just watched you guys play it. But like, just from hearing you guys talk about it, I know how ass it is.
That was by far the worst one that they've put out, by far.
The
Like they made it like the only sick part I will say about that game, like they had like the legends challenges, so they picked like 10 different legends of like the game, like Hall of Famers, and you had to do like a game of each of them, like their best game, like as like a pro. You know what I mean? So like that was
I
cool
remember.
because like they try to continue that from like the last game. It was 2K11 where they had the Jordan challenges because like Jordan was on the cover and it was like an anniversary game, and you had to do like his best like 10 games or something like that and like do like the challenges. So they try to recreate it, but it was just fucking awful.
Yeah, it was too much. I remember the 2K11. Who was it you had to hold to like 12 points the whole entire game? I remember there was like
I think it was Clyde Drexler.
Yeah, it was like someone crazy, and it was so hard to do. I remember that. That was awesome. That's probably one I like. That was definitely one of my favorite 2Ks.
It was either him or it was Dominique Wilkins. I forget. It was one of them two.
Ooh, it might have been Dominique. Yeah, they
It was
had
one of them. It was one of them. Jordan put the clamps on.
Oh, definitely. That like, I feel like also like the newer 2Ks is just all the same shit now. They're just putting out the same game, just with like better dribble moves.
Yeah, they just had new animations. Really, a lot of the sports games are like that. But you see, at least like for us for Xbox, they're finally adding MLB The Show on Xbox.
That's big.
Comes out this month.
I can't believe Sony like actually signed off on that.
Because that was one of their big exclusives for like a while. Was I mean, I went out of my way to buy a PS4 just to play MLB The Show a few years ago, and then I saw that they announced that MLB was coming to Xbox, and I'm like, all right, bye PS4, like bye like all the shit that I had for that, because I have Xbox anyway, and I was like,
now you don't need the PlayStation.
Yeah, I was like, this is pretty dope. Like, that's why, like back in the day, it took me so long just to convert to Xbox. When I finally did, was because really just like that game, I was like holding on like for dear life to MLB The Show because that game is just so much fun.
Yep, baseball games are always fun. I love baseball games. I like my like hierarchy of sports games. It's obviously 2K because it's basketball. Then MLB The Show. There's nothing better than that. MLB The Show is one of the greatest games I've ever played. And I don't know if you remember back in the OG days, MLB Slugfest.
Do you remember
Or
when
like
they had 2K baseball too?
Yeah, that was crazy. When did that stop getting made?
Uh Probably like
Years ago, right?
2012 was the last one.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I don't remember Slugfest though. I never played that one.
I think it was either called like Slugfest or like Louisville Slugger or something like that.
I
It was like the craziest thing.
I think that was EA, if I remember. I think it was EA used to make that because EA used to make a baseball game too.
Yeah, it
Like back, I
definitely
think the
was.
last one they made was like 05 or 06.
And that seems about right because this game is pretty old.
Because I remember there
And
was one of them and they had it was Manny Ramirez on the cover. It was around 03, 04, like around when they won the World Series. Then they had Albert Pujols on the cover for one of them too when he won the World Series.
I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Big red
dude.
machine.
I hate him.
He's nice.
Is he still the MLB?
Yeah, he rides the pine now. He's on the Angels.
Really? Wow. Is still how long has he been on the Angels?
He's been on the Angels probably like
A couple of years.
at least 5 years now, maybe even like up to 7. He was there for he left St. Louis a while ago. They won like one more chip with him, and then I think he left after that. His contract was up and he got like a huge deal.
He's been in the MLB for years. Has he been in late 90s or early 2000s?
He's been in the MLB since like 1999 or something like that.
This
This
dude's
is the
so
first
good.
year, really. Maybe last year too, part of last year, but he was a starter for like every season up until like last year, I want to say.
Dude, that's longevity right there.
Because he was at first base in the National League. Then when he came over to the American League on the Angels, he became the DH.
Oh, he must have loved that. He was a great hitter. I'll give him that. He was
Yeah,
very good.
he has like over 600 home runs.
Really? Wow, that's up there. Who was what's like the record? I don't know much about baseball.
Barry Bonds is like 800 something, and then Hank Aaron's 2 with 800 something. Then Babe Ruth, I think, had 814 exactly. He's number 3.
Three goats up there. I
Except for
love
Barry Bonds that Roy had.
that Roy had. Yeah. Then wasn't he like mad fat after he got off the roids too?
I don't remember. He might have. That's one of the things that happens like when people do drugs in general. When they get off the drugs, they usually get fat.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, they start eating more. You know what I mean? Like I know there's a lot of addictive qualities in food, especially like sugar. That's why like added sugar is like so bad for you because it immediately turns to fat like once you consume it, but then it's addictive. Like it does certain chemical properties like to your brain. That's why people who like eating disorders like real things like like binge eating because all the addictive qualities of sugar and shit like that go to your brain. People they need more of it.
I can see where you're coming from. That's tough. Definitely, eating disorders are definitely a real thing. That's crazy. That's real crazy. Because my buddy, he has like what is it like when you want to be skinny and you like won't eat?
Anorexia.
Yeah, like my buddy went through that for a grip, and it was just weird because the kid like wouldn't eat. He would like starve himself all day, and then like he would
That's
eat like
more of a mental than anything.
That's mental.
Yeah.
I thought that was an eating disorder.
The binge eating is I mean they're all technically, I think they're all technically classified under mental, but the binge eating has a lot more so to do with the food itself, just due to the addictive qualities of the food. Whereas anorexia is like you're not really eating any food. Like that's more so like a self-esteem, like a self-image kind of thing, where it's like you think like you're fat or what I mean, like you want to be skinny and shit, so you basically starve yourself and make yourself throw up.
That's not good.
Yeah, neither one are good. They're both sides of the extreme,
See, you just gotta like I don't even that should just like freak me out a little bit. One of chocolate, that's addictive. That's really addictive.
It's the sugar.
Yeah, that thing just like goes in your mouth and it tastes like little fireworks going off in your mouth.
They do say dark chocolate's good for you.
Yeah, it has something to do with like your blood flow and like oxygen, right?
I'm not entirely sure why. I know, like, if you were to get like 100% pure dark chocolate, there's good qualities in it, and there's not really any sugar. It's almost like when they say like coffee's good because like the beans, the coffee beans, like it's the what chocolate's made of and then what coffee's made of is pretty much the same bean. It's the cacao bean or the cocoa bean. I think they pronounce it this. You can pronounce it either way.
Yeah, definitely.
Cocoa
Either way.
bean, cacao. I think different people pronounce it different ways, but that bean is supposed to be like pretty good for you, but it's like all the additives that people mix with the bean when they either make coffee or chocolate that make it bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like say you get a Dunk's coffee compared to picking up like a jar of coffee mix already ground and everything. Go get a Dunk's coffee. That thing's gonna taste way better than the coffee you make at home. Just because they
Yeah.
add all that extra stuff in there, like extra caffeine,
It's like all the swirls and the creams and the extra
that's the
sugar and
caramel
shit.
swirl, the freaking French vanilla, and all that shit. And it gets to you after a while. You don't realize
Well, it
it.
becomes addictive. That's why people usually get coffee like every day from Dunks. You know what I mean? And that shit adds
Yeah,
up too. The Dunks coffee is really not that cheap. It's like three. Like when I get a coffee every now and again, I usually get like a large. Most people get like a medium or a large. So medium is like $3. The large is like almost $4. So you figure you get like one of those a day. Sometimes people get them twice a day across 7 days. Like that's another thing. Like the consistency of that like adds up, and then not to mention all that extra sugar is just like gonna make you gain weight. You know what I mean?
yeah. And you could, or like you can go to the grocery store, go pick yourself up a jar of freaking coffee for $5. That could last you months,
Yeah.
and you won't even have to drink it as much because it's gonna taste disgusting.
I mean, what I usually do if I'm gonna drink coffee, like I mean, I don't drink coffee a lot, so I do end up getting the dunks. But what I do is I'll do either one pump of swirl or I'll do like no swirl, and then I'll just do one cream and then just like three Splenda. Because Splenda has like no extra sugar in it. You know what I mean? It's no added sugar. So I'll just do that, and it's like I'm cool with that. Like you figure you make coffee like at home, you're not gonna have like all the swirls and everything else. So you could literally just do like some cream and some Splenda, and it's like boom, you're ready to go. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna taste, but it's gonna taste good to you. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna taste good.
Yeah. I mean, like that's like something I always tell people anyway. Like when they ask me for workout and like diet advice is like find healthy options that you like because it's just something you have to do consistent in order to get results. So if you're eating shit like you don't like, you're more likely to cheat on your diet and then you're not going to get your results. So if you find stuff that you like to eat consistently, which you might have to play around a little bit, you might end up like wasting some money on some food. I mean, I've done it, but it's the only way like you're gonna find the stuff that like works for you is trial and error. So just in general, like find food that you like that you're gonna eat on a daily basis, and then just go from there.
Go
Just
from
ride the
there.
wave.
Well, but you like almond milk?
Yeah, that's what I don't even drink regular milk. I just drink almond milk. It's not that I have
The-
anything really against like regular milk. It's just like because I eat like 240 grams of protein a day. Like that's just like what I need for like my goals. So I have to watch like how many calories I take in. And almond milk has only 30 calories and like barely any fat compared to regular milk, which has like over 100 calories and then like a good chunk of fat. So that's why I usually just don't have it. I just have the almond milk because again, like when you're eating like 6, 7, sometimes even 8 times a day to meet like the goals, you got to cut calories wherever you can. You know what I mean, and cut out any excess.
yeah, you gotta like play around with your stuff.
Yeah. So I do a lot of like counting like grams, counting calories, counting sugars. I plan like what times of the day I'm going to eat like certain meals. I weigh my food. I use the measuring cups. Like I do like the whole nines because it's just like what you got to do like for you to get like the results that you want.
So now with you doing all that, do you like measure like how you're saying you like counting? Now say like you're like making a bowl of cereal, you get out and measure how much cereal you're gonna put inside the bowl.
Bro, I
Or
don't
you-
even eat cereal.
Really?
No,
Damn.
I haven't had a bowl of cereal. Man, I don't think I've had a bowl of cereal I've had maybe one bowl of cereal in like over a year. Like legit cereal. Like I have oatmeal, but I eat the oatmeal like cereal style. Like I don't like heat it up and make it like all mushy. Like that's just like a preference. So what I do is I literally just pour like the oats like in the bowl, and then I just pour the milk in the bowl and I just eat it like that. You know what I mean? Like,
That's how I eat it. That's
yeah.
way better.
But I
That's
don't eat like
definitely
legit like cereal. Like, you know, I'm not going out like to the store and buying like fruity pebbles like frosted flakes and shit and fucking,
cool.
you know what I mean?
You get me hungry, Mike.
I got fruity pebbles protein powder, but that's like the closest I get to cereal. You know what I mean?
Oh well, at least you just that's kind of like a good substitute. Because
Yeah,
like
I
say
mean,
like the craving cereal.
it's good too. Like I have that, and I love Greek yogurt and peanut butter, so it's nice. So I don't really like crave desserts. I've never really been a huge dessert guy, but that alone like kind of does it for
Keep
me.
you away.
There's like barely any sugar, so it does it for me at least. Like I know some people like that's not like their thing. Like they'd rather have like fresh fruit or have some chocolate like here and there, which is like all right, you know.
So with you substitute and like you know how like you just said like the whey protein. So now like you never really been big on the sweets in the first place. I know that. You were
When I
more
was a
of,
little
like
kid, I was. When I was a little kid, believe it or not, I didn't really eat shit. Like I was like one of those like picky eaters. So I had like chicken fingers and hot dogs and like pizza. And
the
then
basic stuff.
if I didn't like have like that, like I'd have like cake and brownies and cupcakes and like um like all those like sweetie like yogurts and ice cream. Like you know what I mean? I would
All
just
the sweet
and
stuff.
candy. Like I would just get like my fill like off that. And it wasn't until probably like high school, to be honest, where I started eating like pretty much everything, you know. But now I eat like all the other day, like I went to like this Chinese place, dude, for example. Like if you told me like at 5 to touch this, or even like at 15 to touch this, I probably wouldn't even have like thought like twice about even fucking going near it. I immediately like, I'd look at it, be like, yo, get that the fuck away from me, you know what I mean? But I had it was a seaweed wrap with rice in the middle, and on the outside it was layered with fish eggs. So it was like the little little red
All the
dots.
caviar things.
Yeah, and then on top of it they cracked like a quail egg. So a quail egg is not like a regular egg. It's like literally like this big. It's like tiny shit. They
That
cracked like a
little
quail egg
ass
on
egg.
top, and I ate that, and I was like my family. They're like looking at me like I had like 10 heads, and I'm like, dude, it's good. Like you want to bite? You know what I mean?
Quick question: was the egg raw?
Yeah, they just cracked it.
Wow, you got some balls, homie.
Well, I eat sushi and shit too.
No, sushi. I
Sushi's
don't
just
mind,
raw
but, like,
fish though.
raw egg, like a raw egg, like egg yolk.
Yeah, dude, sushi's just raw fish. Like, what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. I fuck with sushi, but you know how you ate the quail egg raw? Do you like throw like raw eggs into like a shake sometimes?
I do. I don't really, because I don't. I mean, I like eggs. I eat eggs like every day, but I don't buy like eggs like straight up just because I usually don't eat the yolks. You know what I mean? Like if
Okay, yeah, egg
I
white.
used to eat the yolks all the time, like when I was trying to gain weight. So when I went from 185 to like up to like 215 was like my heaviest. I used to have 8 eggs a day. I'd have 2 or 3 with the yolk, and then the rest of them I'd have egg whites. But nowadays I have I just buy like the liquid egg white cartons. So I have like 8 ounces of egg whites that I mix in with my protein shake. I'll do like 8 ounces of egg whites. Um and then I'll do like 2 scoops of protein powder, and then I'll fill the rest like it's about a cup of almond milk.
See, does that taste weird to you, or like?
No,
does it go down?
it mixes seamlessly with the protein powder. So it literally just tastes like I'm having a thing of fruity pebbles, like a bowl of fruity pebbles.
Okay, so that's what that was getting, because like when you said the raw quail egg, and I'm like, this dude just really ate an egg yolk like that, no
I think I'm
problem.
like Rocky, like making the raw eggs in the blender and just drinking it.
Yeah, that's what I started going through my head. I'm like, this kid must drink egg yolks.
I mean, I don't drink yolks, but I do drink like egg whites. You know what I mean? I don't cook them, you know?
Yeah, have you ever tried to do the
Straight up.
No, I haven't. I mean, there's I love cooking eggs. Like when I used to cook eggs all the time, like it tastes great. Like when you just put them on like the pan, like or on like the skillet and cook them. But there's certain eggs that you can do that with, and certain you can't. It's the difference between pasteurized and unpasteurized. I forget which one you can. I think it's the pasteurized ones that you can do it. If you do it unpasteurized, then you can get sick. Like people usually
Ooh.
like throw up just because it's just the way like they process them. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I've never done it personally though.
Yeah, honestly, that I'd stay away from that too. I'm like a consistency person. So something too thick, I'll straight yak right away. That's no bueno, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you just figure out like what works for you, and then just kind of do it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I like to like for me to get like my protein in. It's kind of hard for me, like not for eating wise. Like I could eat a million times like a day, but sometimes I just get so busy like with like my schedule. So for me to mix in the eggs like with the shake, especially after the workout, you can sometimes you need a little bit extra protein. So it's nice. Like I just and it's cool because you could see it. It's like you see where it's more like yellowish in the shaker where the egg whites are, and then you see like the protein powder, then you see where it's like white from the almond milk. And then when you shake it up, it blends seamlessly. So it's cool. It works for
So
me.
what all works out together. One last question. I got. What was I about to ask you? Oh, so like, you know how like I've like been trying to eat healthier, and like I got really big on kale, and I've been throwing it inside of my like shakes and everything. That good?
So you've been making like kale shakes?
Kale protein shakes. Like I'd make a protein shake and
I
I'll
mean,
put a little
kale's great
kale in
for
it.
you. Kale's one of the best vegetables you can have. So what do you like put it all in the blender and you just mix in kale?
Yeah.
What's it like? Kale, protein powder, and then whatever else?
I usually go water because
Yeah, you can do
I
water
never
mix is
really
fine
like
too.
I've never
It's
really
just like a
tried.
taste thing, you know?
Yeah, see, I've never tried mixing it with milk, but since like you kind of just put me on like mixing it with almond milk and shit like that, I'll
I
probably
wouldn't
try
do it
doing that
with
next
I wouldn't do that with kale, dude. That probably tastes like shit.
time. Probably will.
That'd be like having vegetables with like a cup of milk. That just sounds terrible. That's like having like grass with like a cup of milk or something.
Oh yes, I didn't think about it like that.
You know what is good in like a shake, which I would do like with the kale, would probably mix pretty good is orange juice.
Ooh, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
See
when
that?
I would definitely do orange juice. I've done orange juice a few times in shakes. And it usually comes out pretty damn good. That's back when I used to do a lot of fruit protein shakes, like fruit smoothies almost. So I put like frozen fruits in with like I do like frozen fruit, peanut butter, protein powder, and then sometimes I do eggs, or I would do like kale too, like vegetables, and then I'd put a little bit of orange juice and it would taste great. But with the orange juice, just make sure you're getting one without a lot of added sugar. Like there's gonna be sugar no matter what. It's fruit, but the fruit sugar like isn't bad for you. It's fructose. Like that's like a natural like sugar, so it's not bad for you. But the added sugar is like the real enemy.
Definitely stay away from added sugars. That's big then.
Yeah, like when they're trying to lose weight, a lot of the times it's like, okay, like do you eat a lot of sweets? Do you drink a lot of soda? And the only reason why is because all those have like tons of added sugar in it, which is like just pretty much turns to fat. Like your body really has like no use for the added sugars because it's just processed sugar. It's like table sugar, you know what I mean? Like that
You don't
white,
want that.
yeah. Like for example, like a cup of soda, just a cup is like 50 grams of added sugar. Just a cup.
Jesus.
Just a cup.
Just the freaking cup.
Just a cup. And most people don't have just a cup or like a can. You know what I mean? It's the cup, a can. It's like the same shit. It's like the same size pretty much. 50 grams of
Yeah,
added sugar.
that's so yeah, I gotta start looking more into the labeling and stuff. Cause like I'll be buying stuff thinking it's healthy for me just because like I'll like watch something on TV. I'm like they'll talk about like healthy restaurants or like healthy food and like I'll go and buy it, but like I don't really look at the nutritional values on the back. So that's gonna help me out big now.
Yeah, the main ones look for obviously calories. There's calories, trans fat, um, calorie, trans fat, sodium, um, added sugars, and then protein. Those are like the 5 big ones. So calories, you got to watch how many calories you take in, because obviously depending on your goals, you need to take in more or less. Because that's like when you burn off food, like you're burning off calories. Calories just another unit for energy. Um, Trans fat is usually like the stuff that it's in a lot of beef, trans fat, and a lot of like fatty foods. It's usually it's usually not good just because it like clogs up your arteries. Then there's sodium, which sodium is not like really bad for you, but you can't have like too much. Obviously, like sodium is good, like it has electrolytes and shit in it, which help like your brain function. And then there's the added sugar, which is just terrible for you. It just all goes to fat. It's just processed sugar, and then protein, which is good for you, which obviously your body and your muscles need in order to grow
Yeah,
and
yeah.
maintain their function.
So how do you feel about like carbs? Like
Carbs are
you need
good, but
carbs.
you gotta watch your carb intake depending on your goals. Obviously, like me personally, I have carbs usually like 3 times a day. I'll have half a cup of oatmeal, which is like a serving. Then I'll have half a cup of rice like for lunch, which is a serving. Then like half a cup of rice for dinner, which is a serving. Then the rest of the day I stay away from carbs for like the most part. And then on Sundays, regardless if it's a cheat meal or not, like I'll have like a little bit extra carbs. Like I might have like some pasta or something like that just to help me fuel up for the upcoming week. Where you know, because I work out, I lift like 6 times a week, and then I do cardio like for 3 hours a week, and then you know, what I mean, whatever else extra that I might do like at work, or just like helping, you know, doing work like around the house or helping somebody else out or some shit, you know.
So like with me, I eat a ton of pasta because that's really all like my mom's cooks.
You
So
gotta
it's
start
like,
cooking, kid.
yeah, I try to, but I just don't want to be around Linda. She's crazy. She's
Just get the
crazy.
little minute rice things, then just pop it in the microwave.
Those are good.
I mean, obviously cooking the stuff straight up is better, but if you can have the rice instead of the pasta, that's gonna be much better, regardless if it's in
That's
the
big.
microwave or not. You know.
You know what I tried the other day? I tried keto rice, and it was the most disgusting thing I'd ever eaten in my life.
Keto
It
rice.
literally, I'm trying to like compare it to what it would taste like, but like this, I've never eaten anything that's compared to this disgusting thing.
It's like cardboard.
Honestly, I'd probably eat cardboard before that.
Well, like when I was a little kid, I used to eat paper. You ever done that?
Oh yeah, paper
With
didn't
some
taste that
fucked up
bad.
kid. No wonder why I would like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Fucking eating paper
huffing
and
glue,
shit.
huffing sharpies. Mess with it, made us a little fried in the head. That's all.
It's like Tommy Boy. He always asks. He goes, Did you see paint chips when you were a kid? Like the discolored chips?
Paint chips. Yeah. The what do you like? Paint chips off like this?
No. He meant like in a bag of chips. Like you ever like see there's like the little discolored ones sometimes?
Yeah.
Like they'll be like pink or like gray or something like that. It's usually like
Yeah.
at the bottom of the bag. He's like, do you ever eat like paint chips? Like that's like what that reference is. It's like, did you eat like the fucked up chips like in the bag? Because most people like just throw them out because like they got like fucked up like in processing because they're all supposed to look the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've definitely eaten those before.
I have too, sadly.
If they're in the bag, I wouldn't see why not. They got to take more.
Yeah.
What do you usually do for a cheat meal? Do you keep like a routine cheat meal, or do you switch it up when you do one?
It kind of varies. Like, I'm not like a huge dessert guy unless it's ice cream. Like I fucking love ice cream. But other than that, like I'm a sucker for like food. Like usually it's like pizza, or like chicken fingers or like calzone, burgers, fries, like you mean shit like that. Like
All the good stuff.
I love like food, like in general. Like I think it might be part of the reason, especially now, where like I'm not really like playing like a legit sport like anymore. Like it's not like high school and shit. I think working out is involved more so obviously looking good, feeling good. Because like my life, but especially now, it's like I love food so much where I just venture out and I like to try so many different types of food. Like I'll try almost anything that I have to make sure like I'm keeping up with like my workout. Otherwise I'll turn into a fucking blimp.
Would you have you ever tried what are these the empanadas?
I've had empanadas before when we used to go over Sean's house.
Bomb.
Yeah, I love empanada. Spanish food, like I'm a sucker for. Like I swear to God, like I'm part Spanish. Like that's Spanish food is probably like my favorite food. Like even more
It's
so than like
bomb.
Italian. Like I swear to God, you know what I mean. And most of the Spanish food is actually pretty healthy for you because it's just
Straight
like
up rice and
meat. It's like
beans.
meat, rice, and beans, and then like sometimes a vegetable. Like that's basically like what I eat anyway. You know what I mean? So
It's just like a normal meal for you.
it's like a normal meal, but like the different nationalities of Spanish, they make it different. Like whether you're actually from Spain or you're from like Central America or South America, like they just all like make it different. Like, and that's one of the good things about like eating food is I can have like the same meal 1,000 times and you could have it 1,000 different ways. Like it all just depends on who cooked it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, different spices, different way to cook, different techniques.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach you something. So when you're grilling over the summer, get like a little squirt bottle, and just like spray your meat here and there. Keeps the meat moist.
Yeah. I'll have to try that. Because I hate
Yeah,
when it gets like hard like a puck. Like I like it so it's not like I usually get like medium well. So it's not like bleeding like a motherfucker, but like it's still like soft enough where you can bite into it
get
and
that
it's like
little pink
really
and shit.
nice. It's like yeah, it's a little bit of pink, which like is okay, you know what I mean? But it's cooked enough where I'm not like constantly like tasting
You're
blood.
not constantly chewing,
Yeah, and I'm
or
not constantly chewing. Yeah, exactly.
you're not hearing it move while you're putting it in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Like, dude, if I wanted something fucking chewy and mooing, like I'd fucking hit up a hookah down the street. Like,
You're right there. There's Chelsea right down the street.
yeah, exactly. There's Chelsea down the street and there's Lynn down the street the other way. Like, I drive down to there. Like, I wouldn't go to the fucking grocery store and cook it up and spend all that extra time.
I don't. Then the people that like buy those beautiful pieces of meat and then they just eat it rare, or they'll eat it like just straight like a shoe. When it
Like a
tastes
fucking
like
hockey puck.
yeah. How do you waste your money on that? You cook it with them, when the people eat it rare, they cook it for like 5 minutes, and
I'll
you just
do
wait.
like at most like medium rare. Other than that, it's like medium well. And if it's anything other than medium well, that means like I fucked up. Like I just was like dicking around. I wasn't paying attention.
Exactly. Like if we're gonna spend that money on that beautiful piece of meat, I'm gonna make that a beautiful piece of meat I can eat and enjoy. Not that this, I don't know. I'm like weird with stuff like that, with how stuff's cooked.
I mean, dude, you're gonna be eating it. Like, why shouldn't you enjoy it? You know?
Yeah, I'll eat it to how I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just heard some crazy beeping going on inside my
But
house.
the
Freaking
purge
out.
going on at your house.
Honestly, dude, the worst part is because like, how do I switch my camera now? Okay, found it. So like, with my room, I'm in Steve's old room now. Oh, you can't even see outside unless I press it. Do you see how like you can see all those buildings?
Yeah.
Those houses? When it's foggy out, dude, it literally looks like it just looks crazy. It looks like it's straight from a scary movie. It's awesome though. Then you'll see like the little sometimes you'll catch the people walking through the fog, and it looks like someone's like a murderer. It's awesome.
It's awesome, he says.
Yeah,
Your kid like wants to die.
Definitely not. Fucking my bad, Mike. Fixing my socks and shit.
All
What
right,
do you?
brother. Well, what were you gonna say?
I got one last question for you before you leave. NBA Finals. Who do you got in the NBA? Like, what two teams want, like out of West and East Coast? Who do you got going?
Phoenix Suns, babe. I'm gonna win that K.
You going for the Phoenix?
Nah, dead ass. It's probably gonna be the fucking Lakers.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a rematch, but in all realistic, it's probably gonna be Lakers Nets.
Bro, LeBron and AD are playing the system like fucking chumps. The whole Lakers organization is. They're gonna make the playoffs no matter what. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
made the
they
playoffs
just,
no matter what, and all they're doing is resting AD and LeBron. They're gonna come back healthy as shit and just run the table yet again.
yep.
East, I
All
can't even tell you. Like, it's probably gonna be the Nets just based off the veteran guys they brought in, which I hate to say because I fucking hate that team. But
yeah, I hate them too.
I don't know. Hopefully the Bucks can disrupt them. I feel like they're the only team that could possibly do it, but they'll
Bucks
probably get
can do
clapped in the
it.
playoffs like they usually do.
Yep, Miami's still on their way.
Miami too. Yeah, Miami's good. Jimmy Buckets, baby. I love that dude.
Jimmy
He
G
turned it
Bucket,
around, man.
Jimmy G Bucket turning the organization around for me.
I like that addition of Oladipo too. I think he fits in really well there.
That's a scary like little trifecta they got going. When Victor finds a shot and he finds a way to work with the team, they're gonna be a very tough team to beat.
Well, they got guys who can spread the floor, and they got guys who can play defense. All of them are great. They all
They
can
literally
shoot. They all can play D. They all can
they
do
have
everything.
the team to stop Kevin Durant. They got all those lengthy defenders,
That bench is good too.
Ariza,
Iguodala.
Iggy. They got Harrow. They got Kendrick Nunn coming off the bench. They just got a lot of plays. I
That's a
can't even
good
go through
bench, dude.
them.
That bench is like a bench that most fucking lottery teams have. Like it's basically the starting five for the Rockets right now, if you think about it, or for the Thunder.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. They remind me of the second coming of the Detroit Bad Boys, the '04, the '01 all the way up until the '07 Pistons.
I could see that they have guys who literally starting five and then even on the bench like they're not gonna like wow you, like they're not gonna go crazy and take over the whole game, but they have everybody who's gonna contribute like at least like 10 to 15 points, like minimum, like I'm talking like at least 10 to 15 points, and they'll probably have like one or two guys like put up like 20, but that's what you need. Like it's hard when only two guys are the ones that are scoring the basketball, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's such a well balanced team.
Yeah, they do everything well. They have a great coach, and just in general, that organization is great. I mean, Pat Riley, he was winning chips back in the day as a head coach with the Lakers, and then he just brought that pedigree over to the Heat. He's been balling.
That's what they needed. I freaking someone before you go, I'm just gonna tell you something. Like I was on Twitter today. You know me. I like to go in the comments section. I like to start a little something up.
Kid's like the Twitter troll. He hates KD, but he thinks he's KD on Twitter.
That's what I am. I am KD on Twitter. I'll hop into a comments. I'm really thinking about making a burner account,
Just
but
put, just name it not KD.
that's what I'm gonna do. And I hopped in on there. They're like, oh, Julius Randle owns Bam Adebayo. I wrote because you know how I was gonna get right when I saw Julius Randle owns Bam Adebayo. I commented on that. I go, so tell me a game where Julius played better than Bam when they played against each other besides Bam Adebayo's rookie year. Kid goes, Julius is having a better year than him. Well, I go, well, the Knicks organization is just god awful. I go, when was the last time they were in the playoffs? And then I hit him with the
Nah, they do make the playoffs every year. They have a good
I'm saying the
franchise
Knicks.
ever since going back to like the New Jersey days. Oh, the Knicks. Oh, my bad. I
Yeah.
thought we were talking about the Nets.
No,
Yeah, the
no,
Knicks.
Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks are fucking trash, dude.
Yeah, and then this kid hits you with, oh well, Julius is the best player on his team. I go, let me know when Julius makes the playoff. And the kid hasn't replied to me since. Little Twitter war.
Even when they do, they'll probably make the playoffs this year, but they'll be 1-0.
They're fading. Pacers are about to be there. 4 more games. I got the Pacers in there for 8th seed.
They're a good team. They'll give any team trouble if they get in there.
They got the length. They
They're
got
good.
crazy length.
Starting five and bench. They're a good team.
Did Matthew Brogdon get traded? Nah, right?
No, he's still there.
Oh, that's gonna be deadly. Him and Karras.
Brogdon, Karras, TJ Warren, but he's out the rest of the season, TJ Warren, which is a big blow. Then they have Sabonis
Sabonis.
and then Miles Turner. And then on the bench,
They got the Holiday brothers. They got the other two Holiday brothers.
I think it's Justin and
Justin
Aaron are their names.
Yeah,
But then they
one
have,
of them's decent.
I forget who the hell their sixth man is, but he's really good. It's not Thad Young. They just got rid of Thad Young this past offseason. Somebody else. I can't remember, but their team is really, really good.
They're
really
another well-balanced team.
Yeah. But I'm gonna let you get going, big dog. We've been on here for a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't even. Oh shit, it's 9:30.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, anytime. I'm always down to hop on this.
I mean, these chats, especially like this one, I mean, going forward, I'll definitely have you on again. But I like how these chats are. This is my alarm actually telling me to go to sleep. I've been having a hard time sleeping lately. I got to start setting alarms so I get off like my technology and shit. But like the chats are nice. It's nice just like to that's like kind of like my big goal of it is just to be able to talk to people like one-on-one and connect with them and just kind of just talk about some really like dope cool shit, get some perspective on things, and then just see if we can't deepen my connection like with these people or form new connections, and even just like drop some wisdom on people, you know what I mean, drop a little bit of knowledge, and then vice versa.
Yeah, that how it's such a beneficial thing in life to have that type of, especially you having the opportunity to do that. Sky's the limit. It's gonna be so much better for you going forward and see like you making better bonds with everyone. And exactly what you said. Talk about that dope shit. Learn some knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just talking today. I mean, you got a little bit of knowledge and insight, and then I learned a little bit more about a few things. So it's worth it. It's good. Good way to keep in touch with people and make new connections and just to learn. There's kind of like what life is. You're constantly should be on a constant quest of learning. Otherwise, like you just kind of become stagnant, and you just get stuck.
Yeah, you get stuck in the mud.
Stuck in the mud. Got it out the mud.
Got it out the mud. All right, brother.
All right.
I'm gonna let you go to bed. I'll see you soon. Good night. Stay safe and healthy, bro.
Yes, sir. You too.